Well, you're recording.
Yes, that's very, very helpful. Why is my screen share not working?
I don't know, because that's your account. I can't help you.
Oh, without my screen, I'm just going to be completely lost. Um, there it is. Okay. Well, thank you all for joining our forum. And what we're going to do is, for some of the new people, um, we can do a better thing. And first of all, let's rename ourselves. If you go to the very top um, of your window, you'll see three little dots. Go in there and rename. Like I'm going to put myself as today, I'm going to be the district membership chair of 5110. So that way, when we start in our discussion, people will know who they are talking to. So anyway, we have some guests here along with us. Our district governor, Nelson Mailer, is on this call today. And Nelson, thank you very much for joining us. We have Angela Lopez, who just introduced herself a little bit earlier. She's from the zone. She is all things membership. She's here to help our districts and our chairs, and is a great person to talk to with all things membership with regards to everything. She is just a fountain of youth. And then fountain of youth, fountain of knowledge. There we go. There you go, Angela. As well as we have our district governor-elect, Chris Wall, with us today. And who is our past membership chair and my go-to when I need help for things, unless it's, of course, it's sharing screens, which then she is no help. That's another story. Anyway, our forum today is going to be, we're going to start off a little bit with a state of, what I call a state of union. We're going to talk about where we are now, what we're doing, and where we are going forward on this thing. So we're going to talk a little bit about our membership, and then we're going to try to break it into, I bet I might even have okay, Chris, why am I not moving my share account? Really, they literally just updated my account August. Let's see if we can go back into this and see what we can do.
Yeah, sorry, I'm no help.
There we are. Okay. Can everyone see my agenda that's out up on the screen right now?
Nope.
Nope. Oh, I can see it just fine.
Well, why don't you share your screen?
Yeah. Wow. You are just so
What
helpful.
an idea. Meanwhile, maybe we can introduce everybody else. That'll make you not feel so pressured while you're trying to figure it out.
This is really drives me crazy when I have this.
Oh, there it is.
There we are. Yeah, but I'm not bringing up PowerPoint, which is okay.
Have Freddie Saxton here is the Youth Services
Yeah.
Chair, also past president of Newport Club. We have Ed Finklia. I'm not remembering, Ed, where you're from.
I'm from Ashland. I'm from the Noon Club in Ashland, and my name's pronounced Finkley. The A's just there to confuse the world.
Now say it again.
Finkley is how my name is
Finkley.
pronounced.
Okay.
Lee.
I was
Lee is
trying to be
pronounced.
so proper.
You got
Thank
it.
you.
Well, hi, Chris. Good to see you again.
Nice to see you again, Ed. Yeah. And Bev Walker's here from Road Gateway. She's a regular customer at the membership forums. as is Sharon Trentino from the Montague Club, our California representative.
Hey,
Let's see.
Marv Kaplan's on the show. Excellent.
Oh, good.
Hey, Marv.
And
Good to see you.
Jim Lanzarota.
Very good.
Which one?
Lanzarota.
Lanzarote, and you're from the Sisters Club. Nice to have you here. Who is iPhone? I know you have a name. Maybe she doesn't have her sound on. Marty Daniels is here. Sylvia Ryan is here from either Uganda or Eugene Southtown. I'm not sure where you are, Sylvia.
Chris, you need a mirror in front of you. And you could be doing the Miss Nancy thing. I see this one, I see that one. Remember Romper Room?
Marv Kaplan is here, looks like in his car.
Right. By the way, the link on the DACDB for virtual, I was on that for about 5 minutes. And so then I just went to another direction to get into the meeting, but it wouldn't let me into the meeting.
Well, we'll get our membership chair.
And
on
nobody
that.
is seeing that share right now.
I am.
Yes, I
Yes,
am.
just got
Yes,
it.
I am.
Now
Okay,
we
perfect.
see it.
Okay.
Well,
Now we
then.
introduced everybody.
Marv, I checked that link out earlier, and for some reason it seemed to be working, but I'll double check it again. Sorry.
Okay.
You
Thank
broke
you.
it.
Okay, so here is the agenda that I was looking to talk to. What we're looking at is two things. I wanted to start the meeting. I have about 5 or 6 slides. We're going to talk about current state of affairs, where we're at membership-wise, what we're doing moving forward. And I want to do that for about 15 minutes. And then I want to have a 15-minute discussion with Freddie's on board today. We're going to talk a little bit about youth services and how they play a crucial part in your club. And I think the membership chair, the president-elects need to be aware of how just dramatic they are with increasing membership and involving membership. It's almost part of our secret sauce, even like even to the point of community service. Youth services is just part of what we do. Then I'd like to, we're going to talk a little bit about club membership and involvement. I believe the club membership chair isn't really as strong as it should be. I'd like to change some culture with regards to how we look at that membership chair in the district and how important they are in the clubs. And then club growth. We really need to talk about what we can do as individuals, but more importantly, what we can do as a district to work together to keep that combined growth, sharing best practices, helping with other clubs, creating just a network of people that have the ability to communicate and share what we need to do to help build a better group of Rotarians, a larger group of Rotarians, so we can do better in the world. To be honest with you, we can do great things. So if you look at last year or this year right here, we ended up at 2704. Currently, year to date, we're at 2717. This is a graph right from MAPS. Now there will be a lot of you have 3 softwares working together. You have DACDB, you have RLI, and you have what I call MAPS, which is a membership action plan. And it projects growth by district and by club. So the yellow line is how our growth was projected, and the blue line is what we actually did. And there are many things that we can take from this growth. And excuse me. So as you look at it, the things that we look at is we were below our graph line because graphs like to do straight lines and people don't always comply. But you can see that our growth was from November 1st to December 1. That's when we had our strongest month of actual growth in the Rotary district, in District 5110. And then as you see, come January 1, we have a small purge. People have to realign based on their dues and fees. And then they start growing, and it's not really until April do we start to match where we were before November. And then it looks like we were just online, and we were about 2815. Our goal was to get to 2850 before that dreaded July 1 purge. And I'm going to talk about this a little bit further down the road on why this is so important to be understandful of. Because that helps us how we look at engagement, looks at our attrition rates, but more and our attraction rates, and how they affect us and how they affect different clubs. So this is what we're doing this year. You'll notice this one's dark, this one's white. As we look at it, we're up to 2717, and again, that looks like we're above the curve. So that's actually semi-hopeful for 1 month. One of the reasons why the numbers can be a bit ambiguous is when Rotarians change clubs, their treasurer has a tendency to pull them off on July 1, but they may not get added until July 15th or somewhere down their next meeting. And so what we say we have on July 1 and how it ends up can be a little bit different. So there will be a little bit of figures. So anyway, we are on track using the same projected growth pattern. This is where we can look at how we address membership moving forward. But again, these are things that are just tools to help us kind of keep an eye. So my question to the group today is this membership goal worksheet working for you? Has anyone seen this? Has this been explained to you? In the district, we live and breathe by these. We talk a lot about them. But I'm going to explain why they're so important to me, but we really need them viable to the clubs. And this is an actual club. This is a true representation. We present these worksheets. I can provide them. You can find them. DACDB will actually provide them, RLI as well as MAPS if you have that software. I'm not sure how available it is down to the club level, but it's definitely something that if you sent me an email, I'd be more than happy to get your club in. And I've only had one club this year ask me for this worksheet, and that was Grants Pass. Thank you, District Governor Mailer. So anyway, the reason why this is so important is this club right here had 111 members. It's currently at 66 for the beginning of the year. But look up there at the very top, it has an attrition rate of 21.8. Now, I will tell you right now, the North American average for attrition rate is 9.3. I use 10% because it's easier to do the math, to be honest with you. Rotarians leave. They're going to move. They're going to change positions. They may have different vocational levels. They may have children. They may have grandchildren. There's things in our lives that cause us to go in and out of Rotary, and we have to understand that that's part of what we do, and we have to be able to address that when we're setting our membership goals. So as you look at this membership goal setting worksheet, if I walked into this club right now and said, you know, we really need to talk to you about membership, they're going to say, well, look, we had 66 at the beginning of the year. Now we have 77. We have 11 new members. We're kicking butt. Thank you very much. Go have some coffee. We got this handled. I said, yes, but if you look down to your average attrition rate, you lose 20 members a year. But that doesn't all happen throughout the year. When does it happen? Well, we now know that it happens pretty much July 1. So you're going to lose 20. So you're getting 11 members. So you're averaging about 1 a month. And actually, you're averaging better than that. But you actually, if you want to grow your club by 4 members, you might want to consider 2 a month. So a lot of clubs get a false sense of security, thinking that they're bringing in 11 members, they're moving well, they're doing everything right. And then the other shoe drops. And then they go through, they look at their clubs, they look at their due schedule, and they see these people that are not active on their club. And all of a sudden they've lost 20 members and they weren't even aware of it. In this particular worksheet, I would recommend we look at engagement, and that's a conversation for another meeting. But for now, what I'm looking to do today is twofold. A, for the newer people to understand that there is a worksheet that's available. It does accurately, each club, this is by club. Some clubs, this is not all Rotary clubs don't lose 20 members a year or 21%. This is individual to each club. So that's why it's necessary to have your worksheet for each different club. And what you're up against. Because if you're not up against it, I used the analogy that if you're driving 50 miles and you get 40 miles to the gallon and you're down to your last gallon, well, you're not going to get there. And it's the same thing. If you're bringing in 10 new members thinking you're going to show growth, but you lose 12 a year, you may need to readdress what you're looking at. So this is why this slide is here. So getting back to our agenda, what you show, the reason that I bring that up is we are currently in the district doing a strategic action plan. That is where Chris and I and DG Nelson sit together and we build, and past District Governor Paul, and we are looking at things on moving forward, how we can make decisions about where we're going to be. And this is why goals in the club level are so important, because where we get that data? From your goals. And it's very, very interesting because Stephanie Urchik, the current Rotary president, has asked if it would be possible for us to grow by district of 100 new members. Now, you might say that sounds like a top-down action plan, but if we go in and we take all of the goals that you set as a club, we're going to find that maybe those goals are actually they have some quite lofty goals, and our goal is to help them achieve them, obviously, and that's, we use those plans. Perfect example is, and it does get a little bit arduous. If we ask what your goals are for community involvement, and we see clubs that meet their goals, maybe it's 10, 5, whatever, and their membership is growing, we're going to correlate that, well, best practices, clubs that have great they have great community projects, their membership seems to grow, but maybe that's part of the value as Rotarians. So those goals, we use those goals to predict the future. Currently, right now, they're asking us if 100 new members, and this is a question, is something we can plan on. Well, if you take 62 clubs, which is what we have, we lost a club this year, Bend High Desert. Past District Governor Walt Scholler passed away, and it was a club of 2, and his lovely wife decided not to continue as a club of 1. And I put 60 here because we have another club that has 3 members in it, and they're going to only be able to do so much. So if we took the lion's share of the work and we asked them to gain 2 members a year, better yet 1.6, because in all honesty, I don't think we can find that 0.66 new member. If we wanted to grow by 100 with 60 clubs, it's 1.6 new members per club per year. Now, that doesn't seem like that's hard to get. In fact, at one time, I would love to have a program, the Power of 3. How can we gain 3 members a year? But back to that worksheet, the smaller clubs, it's to grow 10%. If they have 12, they only have to grow 1.2. It's the bigger clubs that share they have the larger shoulders, because as I showed on that worksheet, if you have 177 members, if they lose 5, they go, we still have 72. We're still doing strong. A smaller club can't bear that. They can't handle bringing in 5 new members to be able to replace those. So it is the larger clubs that make a huge impact on these numbers, which is why we want to make sure that it's everyone working together. So as we're looking at this, we're looking at starting the year at 2704. We're now at 2717. Last year, we ended the year at I believe it was 2819. The good news is the year before we lost 122 members. It was a trend. This year we started with 2744. We ended it at 2704. So technically we lost 40 members. So that barge of member loss is slowing down. But how do we get it into positive numbers? How do we, as a group of individuals, work together collectively to gain 100 new members in the district? It sounds like a fairly simple task, and that is not me asking for this. This is me asking you if this is possible. I truly believe that Rotary is an organic growth. As district membership chairs, we actually look at how we can help those clubs grow to their potential, not ours. They're the ones that do the lion's share of the work. We're here to help. We're here to help them learn. We're here to support. Whether it's with better youth services programs, better membership chair understanding, and any way we can, better fundraisers. So these forums are designed for you to have a voice. Okay, so I've used my 15 minutes of beginning. So what I'm going to do is I'll probably stop sharing my screen. I love that entryway, by the way. I think that is just a great representation of Rotarians in action. I love the guy in the back working on the roof. He's pretty much oblivious to what's going on. And these two people are definitely moving and shaking. So I think this has always been a very good understanding of what we do. So let's open it up. Freddie, if you have a few words, I didn't ask you to speak, so I don't want to blind you, but if you have a few words, I would like to just talk to everyone for 15 minutes about how the youth services is a vital part of our membership growth and get some input.
Yeah, sure. Thank you. So I really like your goal on the screen there that you shared about every club participating in the 4-way test speech contest. I know for our club, that's been one of the highlights of the year, and I think one of the greatest things about the speech contest is that it introduces high school youth to Rotary principles. It gets them thinking about the 4-way test. And, I've probably learned more about the 4-way test hearing these kids interpret the 4-way test than, just reciting at every meeting at our weekly meetings. So, that's, and I think one of the benefits too, when we polled our club probably a handful of years ago and asked what everyone's passion was and, where would you like to see the resources of our club go, youth services was near the top. And I suspect with most clubs, people like to involve youth and provide opportunities for youth. But with the 4-way test, RILA is another good example of a really positive way to engage youth. But I think those are our future Rotarians. That's our future of Rotary, where we're spreading a positive message about Rotary, and the kids really take hold of it. So one of my goals this year definitely will be to increase participation in, not only the speech contest, but with RILA, which is making a nice rebound from COVID when we kind of dropped off and struggled. The other programs, Youth Exchange, what an amazing opportunity for both inbounds and outbounds to engage with Rotarians and learn about our mission. And, Rotaract and Interact at the high school. Working on strengthening our Interact programs. We've got 20 clubs now. I think we're down quite a bit from pre-COVID, but we're coming back strong. And I just think one of the most vital things that we do as Rotarians is engage our youth, because like I say, those are the Rotarians of tomorrow. So
that's exactly correct. Right. I mean, we've had discussion, you and I, before about how I attended a spelling bee, and just the sheer effervescence of children, their ability to spell words that I can't pronounce was amazing. But it is a truly moving experience to work on that. And everyone, don't forget that, getting the child involved gets the parents involved. This may be a lot of people's first introduction to Rotary and how it works. So always keep that in the back of your mind. I'm a very strong proponent in Interact as well as Rotaract, but Interact especially, because that is each club, it's $100 just to a year to sponsor, and they can either find that sponsorship or the clubs can sponsor them themselves. And again, you're working them into parts of whether it's fundraising, their community projects, you're getting their parents involved. This is probably one of the best public image gifts that we can have at our disposal by involving youth services. So I wanted everyone here to meet that. It looks like Angela had left a comment. Angela, you want to comment to that real quick?
Oh, I was just saying that I was a former youth exchange student 20 years ago, got to be in Denmark for an entire year. And then, of course, I did RILA as well. And so went on to be a Rotarian and now work for Rotary International. So worked for me.
Perfect. I went to have a doctor's visit yesterday, and I had just come out of a Rotary Club, and I was wearing my Rotary shirt, and the same thing. The person that was checking me in looked up and said, so are you part of a Rotary Club? And I said, yes, I am. She goes, I actually was a RILA student and went to RILA camp. And she goes, that was some of the most memorable experiences I ever had. And if it wasn't for that, the logo on the shirt or just a brief interaction, it was amazing to see people that just had done something through Rotary that had impacted their lives and the memories behind it. Any quick questions for Freddie and Youth Services, why we are open? Please. As I said earlier, if you're not speaking, you're not learning, according to what they tell me. Normally, I was raised to shut up and listen, but apparently, please have some conversation. We'd love to hear from you. Any hands?
So, yeah, I have a hand up. This is Ed from
Hi, Ed.
Ashland. Hi, Freddie. Are we solid going into 25 with RILA? We sent 5 students this year from Ashland, and we would like to see that program thrive. But I know there was concern.
So RILA is going much better. We had a drop off during COVID, and I think we went from, we can have as many as around 125 kids following COVID. I think that dropped to around 60, roughly 60, 70. This year we had 100 kids. So
we got it to 100. Oh, that's
yeah.
great.
So definitely on the rebound. Robbie McGowan has taken over as chair of RILA, and she's doing a phenomenal job. I got to spend a few days there this year, and the counselors and staff are just incredible. I think that District 5110 has one of the best RILA programs. Not only in the zone, but probably in the whole country. It's just top notch.
Okay.
So that's something that we're really proud of and really working hard to maintain and grow. So, and thank you for sending 5 students.
Amazing. Yeah.
Yeah, we
Greg,
sent.
I have our district governor with his hands up in the air, being patient. So, District Governor Nelson, what would you like to add?
Well, what I like to add is that I also look at Freddie and his entire team as being a bridge builder, in that we have a lot of wonderful youth opportunities through Interact, through Rotaract, through RILA, through Rotary Youth Exchange, through the 4-way speech contest. All of those get the youth interested and learning about all good things about Rotary. Typically a lot of these folks act as a feeder pool, if you will, Interact to Rotaract. And then Rotaract can be both school-based and community-based, as we all know. And then there is a drop-off typically, right? Where these folks graduate, or they move on, or they move away. And then we don't see them again for a long time. And so Freddie and his team are actively trying to shorten that bridge, to make sure that, hey, listen, you were involved, stay involved, let's keep you involved. There's ways that we can do that, and provide that opportunity for the youth who got involved at one point in time to eventually come on over and become full-fledged, active, involved Rotarians with the wonderful history and experience of what they did as a youth. So, Freddie and his team are really key to that.
Yeah.
And of course, that adds and builds membership. Unfortunately, I do need to leave. I have yet another meeting. 'Tis the job of a district governor, but I just wanted to share that, and thank you, Freddie, and thank you, Bruce, for this wonderful membership forum. Really appreciate it.
Problem.
Thank you.
Okay, we are running out of time on our youth side of it. The only two things I'd like to add to this is if you can find Freddie through DACDB or direct, please let me know. Freddie, if you want to put maybe your email address in the chat room, if you have any questions, whether it's starting an Interact Club, and remember, next time you do a fundraiser or a community project, I've seen many clubs that have them help set up. I watched a club actually do a fundraiser where Interact were actually helping with table services, and they raised $250 for the Interact chair themselves for that club. And it was just a great help on the club. So Interact and take pictures. Our public image, Chris is overseeing our public image chair, and she wants to see pictures on everything with Rotarians. Jim, you have your hand up.
Yeah, I'm curious how we're feeling as a district for the four-way speech contest. Are we getting a good participation rate? And I bring it up because I tried last year to get the Sisters High School interested. We had a great reception to go into the school and do promotions, but we did not get one student. And I'm curious, I know I'm rambling, another part of the question, Sisters does not have a speech and debate team, and I'm curious if we're getting higher participation from schools that have speech and debate, which would seem to make sense to me. And finally, if Sisters isn't going to have speech and debate, if we're interested to put some time and energy into recruiting students, could we look to helping other clubs in their communities that do have a better participation rate? So anyway, a series of questions. Sorry.
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and I've always found that outreach to underserved communities, maybe adjacent to where our clubs are located, is a great way to provide opportunities to to kids who otherwise wouldn't have the opportunity to participate. Last year, I think we had 15 clubs participate in the speech contest, about 25%. Obviously, we'd love to get that up to 50% or ideally 100%. But I think in a lot of cases, the debate club doesn't really. I find about half of the finalists are on some kind of debate team. The others are just really good students. So.
Brett, I'm going to cut you off because I have a hand up from Angela, and she is my greatest ally. So if she wants to talk, I'm going to listen.
Well, I always want to know, or I always think about membership, right? And of course, that's why we're here. And last week at the Toastmasters convention, the question kept on coming up, like the Toastmasters Rotary Alliance, what can we actually do for this? And while the list is really long, specifically about this four-way test speech contest, we were telling so many Toastmasters that Rotarians all over the world, it's so common for Rotary clubs to have some sort of speech contest for youth, and Toastmasters are doing a lot with youth programs. And so, Jim, I don't know if there's a Toastmasters club in Sisters, but they might actually be actively working in youth programs for speeches, that sort of thing, because like it's part of their pathways to complete projects with youth. And so if you reached out to the Toastmasters Club, they might have a connection, even if there's no speech and debate club, they might have connections with youth who are working on that. So, and then if you invite them out, invite the Toastmasters too to come and be judges. And that is a great way to introduce them to Rotary. So.
Good question. I'll look into that.
Brett, if you haven't already realized, if you ever have some questions about membership and youth, Angela is a pretty good person. Okay, let's get membership back online here for a while, because I truly want to hear from you people about things. My next part of the agenda was club membership involvement. I feel that the club membership chairs are undervalued. I want to do what I can to get club membership chairs back up into a level We talk a lot about membership being very, very important, but if you look at our actions, I feel we could do better. I wouldn't mind starting a conversation. Perfect example is if you go to our current PELS, which was PETS, our training assembly, which is our learning assembly now, you could buy pins for pretty much anybody on site besides the membership pin. That had to be ordered. If you go to our district website, our membership chair, if you look up our district leadership, is on page 3. It is not a very strong direction from us outward facing. So I'm working with Chris on that. But the question is, there are some great membership chairs in our district that are very, very effective. In fact, we have Marv on our, and I would like to call on him here after I'm done with you guys. Thank you for listening for me. About this, who is very, very involved. And there are some clubs where membership is kind of follows behind secretary and treasurer, and they have so many things to do when they first start up that they kind of add a name in and they really don't show it. I just came from a club a while back where a new membership chair isn't even listed in DAC-DB as membership. And so we really want to try to see what we can do to change the culture of membership chairs. And what do you think is something we could do? I have some ideas, but I really want to hear, because the reason I'm going to call on Marv is because he's very, very effective. And we want to see what we can do to make other membership chairs effective throughout our district. Marv, you got a few seconds?
Oh, sure. Thank you.
Thank you very much, sir.
Sorry, I had to move the car because it was getting too hot in here. So
Not a problem. Thank you for joining us.
I didn't want it to shut it off. I've noticed a difference though with people coming into the club. 5 years ago, our average age was probably somewhere around 55 or so. Now our average age is probably low mid 40s. And because you have new members coming in that have new jobs or have been in their jobs for a short period of time, plus they have families, participation with those people, those individuals are not as great as we would like to see them being involved. We don't have any problems getting volunteers for our 11 annual events, but and we have about a 60% people that show up for lunch. So we have roughly a little over 40 people showing for lunch every week. But we notice that some people aren't showing up because we have to make sure that our speakers are a little bit better. And food is always important. So if you have good food, and you have good speakers, you'll get people more to interact and come to club meetings. Our location, our venue that we have kind of limits us as to how many people we can have in the club. Excuse me. If we have 55 people for lunch, which we have had, and our club is 73 right now, it's tight. We would almost have to find a new location if we went over 60 people for lunch, which in Redmond, there isn't any other location. So we've kind of put our membership on hold because we don't know what we would have to do. I know you don't want to hear that.
I didn't hear that.
Okay. But our attrition rate is pretty low. And because we used that form that you showed earlier last year to see if we're going correctly. And our 5-year plan, which ended July 1st, our goal from the 32 we had, our goal was to have 75. And we did have 75 June 30th, but 2 people have left the club because one lost their job and one moved, and they're no longer in our area. So those are the only 2 people we've left.
Does happen.
Engagement in the meetings, I think, is really important. When people come into a space and they see everybody talking and kind of having a good time before the meeting starts, I think that's critical, because what happens is, and visitors that we have had in our club say that the club is very vibrant and they can just feel the energy in the club. And a lot of people have said that. We're fortunate or otherwise, but we have 7 members in our club that have left the Bend clubs, Mount Bachelor, Greater Bend, and Bend, one being a former president who's very active in our club right now. And they notice a major difference. The only thing that I can tell from that is that in these larger Bend clubs, that would be Greater Bend, Mount Bachelor, and Bend, their venue spreads people out. Our venue kind of puts people closer together. So there's more interaction, and we do other things, like whenever we have our monthly meetings, everyone is given a playing card, like 4 clubs, Ace of Diamonds, and they have to go find that seat. So we force people to sit in other places, and people kind of love that. We don't do it all the time, but we do it once a month, and that helps with other people sitting with other people and interacting with them. So it's the energy of the group when they first come in that I think makes people want to come back, because there's interaction.
Okay.
And then the events that we have also is good. We have a teacher's appreciation breakfast coming up next week, and we need about 30 people to do that. And our volunteer list filled up within 48 hours. So that's good. We just got through with the Deschutes County Fair, where we have to fill out 224-hour shifts. That's always the biggest thing. And that's the only event that we ask everyone to participate if they're 70 and under.
Well, thank you, Marv. That's some great, it's a very, very great input. By the way, Marv has put together, and the Club of Redmond, an amazing 30-minute piece on how his club is very successful. I am going to try to put out a doodle poll as soon as I pass my refresher course on Zoom. And then I'm going to, the questions will be everything from when is the best time for this group to meet. But I would like to spend a forum doing nothing but just talking about, building a vibrant club. People don't always remember what you say, but they do remember how you make them feel. And as clubs, as membership chairs, it is our goal to kind of keep an eye on that pulse of our club and how we react to members, our programs, our venues. It is all part of this huge equation on what we do with regards to building a strong and sustainable club. Bev, you have a question?
Yeah, I know you went like this when Marv said, well, we're reaching a certain point in membership, and we did an action plan probably three or 4 years ago, and we said we wanted to get about 75 tops, and we're coming upon that, and we find that people join because they come to programs and they like the atmosphere, and they say we want to join your club. We don't really go looking, kind of, but people invite people. And I'm thinking it is kind of a perfect number we have now. It's been great. Although the young people that do come in, they are very busy. So they don't want to be the program or the team leaders and so forth. So that does seem to be the problem that we have. And so a lot of our team leaders and our committee members are older. So for that reason, I think having new membership is important, but we do like our current vibe.
There is nothing wrong with that. With a club getting well at managing, I have a term called critical mass. But from a sustainability standpoint, we know from a North American standard, and that number may change, but right now it's at 9.3. We know that an average club needs to be bringing in a membership to cover their attrition, but it's so involving with everything. It's new ideas, it's new people. Membership has so many benefits. You know, yes, we could focus on having more revenue or having more foundation giving, and we can always look at that side of it, but it's not. That's why I love the Interact side. If you want to bring in a club that is doing more in the community, many hands make light work. If you want a community that's looking at keeping, you know, an understanding demographic wise, demographics change in cities, membership is there. So membership to me especially will always be a very strong point that we need to have concern. If your venues, and I'll be honest with you, I've been in a club where a venue was their club of 95 to 100, and I've talked with even the old assistant governor at the time, and he said, well, you know, if everyone showed up, we couldn't afford it. And he goes, right now our venue fits with our budget. If we had to go to a bigger venue, it creates another level of cost and another, you know, it's a whole level that clubs may or may not want to go to. Well, you know, there are so many different options. You know, I'm a big proponent of satellite clubs. I really feel that that is something, and I know Chris could talk for hours on the benefits of satellite club because she's a pro. There are different ways of looking at creating another club. Heaven forbid. One of the things that I haven't brought up is there has been a question on whether a district could support creating 4 new clubs. I think it needs to be, you know, people do change and there are different mindsets and they do want. I've watched a smaller club and when I mean smaller, I'm talking 12 to 18 people that has some of the most amazing fundraisers and amazing child services. And so size is not necessarily an issue with it, but clubs do have a tendency when they get into the administrative side of it, as the clubs get bigger and bigger, and you know, the next thing you know, they're finding out more time administering a club of that size rather than maybe doing what they were having fun doing what they love to do, which may be community service. I suggest you talk. That is something to bring up in further forum meetings and how we deal with that. We could talk an hour just on that issue alone, as well as whether it's how we interact with other parts of our club. So good point. Very, very good point. Anybody have another question that we can, because I do have more points to discuss. Sharon, you're being awfully quiet down there. You smile, so you get picked on. Have you anything to add today? Thank you for joining us, by the way. I'm looking forward to
I'm here just basically to listen and see if I can get anything new. And I'm going to tell Marv I can't do 11 things, but we are doing a balloon fair, and you can tell people in Oregon that it's happening next month, a month from today. It's 16 balloons are going to go up.
If you ever want to see that video from Marv, either ask me, find Marv on DAP-DB, or find me. I would be more than happy to forward you a copy of that YouTube video. It has some very strong understandings of what work very well for Marv, and I think a lot of things he does is applicable to other clubs. But remember, all clubs are different. They all have different people, different understandings, different location. So it's the old let's adapt, not adopt mindset.
Yeah, I have 5 people. He has 75. So yeah.
And I noticed you were much more talkative when you were president-elect. Now that you're president, how's your year going?
So far, so good. It's a couple of meetings so far. We have our first guest speaker tonight, and so I'll see how that goes. And everything's doing fine so far.
Good to hear. Thank you. I'm looking forward to going down and seeing you at Montague.
Come next month when the balloon's up.
We lost Marty. I was going to pick on Marty there for a minute. Okay. Well, I'm looking for Ed. Would you have anything more to add? And I'm sorry I don't have iPhone here. I don't have your name.
It's Ed Finkley. Yeah.
Ed.
Well, I thought I might mention to the folks in Redmond, Ashland, this is before my time, but I know some of the history of it, had a single club, our noon club. And over time, there was a group of people who just really couldn't take an hour and a quarter at noon. It didn't work with their professional lives or whatever. Mm-hmm. But they would have been able to do something from 7 till 8 in the morning, and a morning club was formed.
Morning clubs are
And
great.
Ashland, for a town of 21,000, has, our club has about 100, and the morning club's up around 30 or so. So that's one thing that actually occurred in our community, because there's a good 30 people. My dentist doesn't have time at noon, but he's in the morning club.
Well, my message to the group today is simple, and it's this, is the fact that we were talking about membership and membership loss and membership, how we are effective in our district, you know, from 2015. The methods that we used pre-pandemic was always a concern. And then we had the pandemic came in, which threw all of us for a curve. And here we are looking at how we can support and strengthen our membership today. I want to stay innovative, but I wanted today to be a chance to say we can share best practices of what does work. Marv has some. I know Mike Hewitt down in Port Orford has some really, really strong programs going on that are very effective in his area, and he would love to share. In fact, I'm surprised he's not here today. And both Chris and I are always available when it comes to anything that involves your club with the district. We're both the district governor and the district governor lines. And Freddie, who has probably got the biggest piece of this puzzle, which is youth services, because that can be anywhere from Interact to Rotaract to four-way test to the foreign exchange as well. So he's got some, and he's another great asset. Freddie, thank you for being here. So these are all things that you, as being part of Rotarians in your club, we look forward to questions and offering anything help we can. We are coming up with 7 minutes left in the order. Yes, please.
Hi,
Welcome.
this is Wendy. Hi, sorry, I must be showing up as iPhone, huh?
You are, Wendy. That's okay.
Sorry, I was connected to my computer, but it wouldn't do video, so I switched to my iPhone. But I'm the current president in Jefferson County in Central Oregon.
Oh, congratulations. Thank you for joining.
Thank you. Just looking to learn new ways of getting people into the club.
Well, please, by all means, jump in with both feet. And if you have a particular idea, please voice it. If you have lots of questions, there's an old saying in Rotary, the answer is always in the room. But you have some great staff here, and I apologize. Joe came in later on the meeting. Joe Vincent is our executive assistant governor, and assistant governors are they are the strength and they are the voice of your club. So if you ever need any help with that, in fact, you are. Is Keever your AG over there? But
yeah, he is.
Well, yeah. Good. So, but Joe is in charge. Joe, would you like to add something to our meeting? Thank you very much for being here.
Yeah, I'm sorry. I wanted to send a message to Keever. I think he's coming back today from Scotland. So tell him we said hi and look forward to seeing more of him.
Holy moly, Scotland.
Yeah, this is a great group. This is a good meeting. Thanks for putting this on today, Bruce.
Not a problem. I have, and I would probably share my screen, but I'm scared to death because it didn't go well last time and we don't have enough time to watch me bounce around. But this meeting is recorded. I am going to meet up with Marv this Thursday, looking forward to it. And we're going to sit down and have a great conversation about Rotary and membership and some ideas. And you have, like I said, Joe, myself, Freddie, Chris, as well as, the ultimate Angela Lopez. Is everyone aware on the meeting how RI works through the zone and then districts and then clubs? Because as a district, we have 61 clubs and we handle everything from just south of Salem down to California. Angela works for the zone, and the zone is, we have 31 districts. So she is exponentially has more irons in the fire than we may. Angela.
I do want to just clarify, because whereas clubs can have employees and districts can have employees and the zones can have employees, I'm actually a Rotary International staff. So while I live in Phoenix, my bosses are in Evanston. So I work for the mothership. And so I do hear sometimes because I serve zones 26 and 27, but I actually don't work for the zone. So that is a little bit of confusion that I feel like some people do have, because it's in my name, zones 26 and 27, but I am a mothership employee, because there is an employee that is like the assistant for Dan Himmelsbach. And I'm not employed by the 501c4 that is the zone. So just let everybody know.
Thank you for clarifying that, Angela. I have probably introduced Angela 10 different times, and I've introduced her 10 different ways. And I normally get emails later going, that's not really how to do it. So I'll probably get an email on this one too. Anyway, but thank you, Angela. She is very, just a neat person and very understanding of all things. Very, very helpful. Okay, I believe with that, I have not looked at our chat room. But I will afterwards. If you have any more questions for me, I will probably send out a doodle poll, and we'll start drilling down on each one of these topics, and you guys get to pick the topics that you'd like to know more about, as well as the times. We've had a meeting at 10 o'clock on the third Tuesday of every month for a long time. So if it's time to change that up, let's do that. If there's more convenient times possible. And I wanted to thank everyone for being here, especially Freddie Saxon, our new Youth Services Chair. If there's anything we can do to help support him, let us know. And if there's anything he can do to support you, definitely his direct line is the best way to get a hold of him. That's my sense of humor. Just let us know, and we'll definitely make sure that we get Freddie involved. But he's got a lot of plates spinning in the air like the rest of us. So as we can get these things done. So I'm going to call it good at this time. Thank you again. Please don't hesitate to call me. I am either in Jackby. I have my email on my PowerPoint slide, but we know how that went. So thank you again, everyone. And I will look forward to seeing you. And Marv, I'll see you on Thursday. We got a lot to talk about, buddy. Thank you very much. See you guys.
Looking forward
Thanks
to
for
it.
inviting me, Bruce.
Take care. Thank you again. Bye-bye.